Hello, welcome back to Remesh LIVENODING. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you how I created this rotten donuts and rotten meatball. So basically, it's a geometry nodes. I'm trying to make something that's like a displace modifier, but just using geometry nodes. The cool thing is that, of course, you can do it multiple times, and it's gonna give you a different kind of like layered effects. And you can also use remesh, and you can try like point to volume, volume to mesh to further create what you're doing. But in this case, I have three different layers of geometry nodes, and the nodes itself is looking something like this. Let me try to explain. So geometry goes in, I subdivide it. I can control the subdivisions using this parameter. And then these two nodes will basically work with the UV map. So I'm using position here, but I think the right one is using the UV. So it's multiplying the UV informations and then also offsetting it. So this is the correct one. And after I do that, I just pass it here and sample a procedural texture and saving it as color and weight. Color is for the shader, but the weight is the one that we use to push. So this is the weight that I've been clamped using color ramp, saving it as itself, and then continue on. We have this scale. This one will scale the displacement, so I can control. I can go here and make changes and should update. This one is actually quite heavy. Normally it's gonna do a calculation once, and once you're done with it, you can scrub the value. It's gonna be a bit faster. So the scale, I multiply it with the normal. So this one is the one that's doing the job, because we have the normal, vertex normal information here. I simply multiply it with the weight and saving it as push. After I do that, I simply add it into the position. So the original positions is getting pushed. So it's very similar to displace modifier, at least in this is the basic one, because it doesn't do anything else. It's simply just pushing and pulling the vertex. Okay, there's also I use multiple these geometry nodes. Underneath, we also have this texture, right? Each texture can be manipulated. So if I click here, so this is a cloud texture with cell noise. Let me replace it with Voronoi. It's gonna recalculate everything once again. So anyway, this texture can be unique per layer. So of course, it's just like a displace modifier, and you use very high resolutions points. But the cool thing, of course, with this, yeah, it does change something. You can animate the effects. So let me try to make something, try to randomize this a little bit. Yeah, I think my resolution is too high, so it's not interactive. I should maybe just use like level 1 here. Oh, it's too slow to update. I have an older version of this that's actually more interactive. Let me try reopen this version. Okay, this is an older version, but this is more interactive. and I can animate the rotation effect simply by sliding this parameter. So by the way, the shader is actually from Blender Zen shader. It's called Stylized Shader. It's actually an add-on. It's a free add-on. You can download the shader. And if you look at the shader, it's looking something like this. It's stylized. It's called Stylized Shader. When it comes as an add-on, you just click here. It's gonna generate. It's gonna generate this guy over here. You can have control over the light of this shader. And the shader will actually render as cycles. So it's gonna render as PBR as well on top of Eevee real-time shader. You might notice that there's some kind of thickness with this shader. It's changing color based on the thickness. So this is also kind of cool. You have full control, and it's give enough control that you can shade your rotten donuts, whatever you like. Okay, so let's get back to this guy. Yeah, the last effects actually just add this bubbliness. I think what's happened is, because I'm using remesh over here, once you do remesh, the UV doesn't work anymore, so it's simply just pushing and pulling. So you have this bubbly effect. But the remesh is really cool because you can completely change the topology of the object. I can use smooth remesh or voxel remesher. Yeah, different effect. Let me get rid of it. Now once I get rid of it, we get the UV back, I believe. Yeah. Let me try to modify it. So for each geometry nodes, we can make it unique, right? Make it a single user. And then if we select whatever geometry nodes we are selecting, it's gonna show up here under geometry nodes editor. And now we can try to make modification. It should change the shape. Yeah, okay, cool. Now it's looking like a bit like a pool. Let's change this scale. Oops, I just did something. It's very sensitive with the value. Okay, cool. I scale the UV map. I can actually skip this. I can mute it. It shouldn't have any effects. It's passing the color into the call, but in the latest version, there's attribute transfer or attribute convert nodes. You can try using this and then try to transfer the value from the texture into the call using these nodes. It's pretty cool, actually. What I want to show you is this texture that you can make it into unique, make it into a single user. Now you can click here and then replace it. Okay. It should have some effects like more random than that. I just increased the resolution so it's gonna be double, okay, twice heavier, or just get rid of this. So we have that effects on the first one. I think what's going on is with the latest 2.93, it's actually a lot faster for you to be able to do this. That's why. It's almost like micro displacement effect. So let's select this guy. Wait until it's updating. Replace this texture with something like Musgrave. Okay, yeah, it does change, but it's pushing it too much. I think it's also trying to push it in the XYZ directions. That's why it's a little bit strange. Anyway, you get the idea. So this is the rotten donut setup using geometry nodes. Hopefully you find this useful and interesting. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.